So today in the shop, we had a really productive day. I didn't expect it to be this good based on the weather, but we managed to get all our errands done early in the morning, just in the nick of time too. That we got home and we were able to prime the fairing for Joe, and that was a big job. And then we checked the weather and found out there's some really nasty weather coming in the next couple of days, so I decided I'll get the old GS out, the West Cooley GS, get the back wheel off, so at least I'll be working in the cellar for the next couple of days. And this is going to open up the door to our next project, actually coming up very soon. We're going to start working on that wheel, making a set of West Cooley wheels, black with a red pinstripe, and they'll be extremely high gloss black with brand new tires and all the related hardware. Now I know this is going to be a pretty busy next couple of days. I'm trying to plan out how I want to do this. We're expecting some really nasty weather to come in. In fact, the one problem that we always have with the house is frozen pipes. On nights it goes below 20 or 15. Well, one night it's predicted to go down to 11, so I've got to really be aware of that. But what I want to do, what it's making me think motorcycle wise, I want to two things. I want to stop at Pep Boy today. Karen has a bunch of errands to do before the really bad weather gets here. Couple of days, and I try to plan this out whenever I have a day that I have to go out with Karen and do grocery shopping and do other things. I want to pick up a couple of cans at Pep Boy of I thought I had some primer sealer. I really don't. I don't want to compromise the primer, so I'm going to try to get that. They usually have that at Pep Boy, so try to combine some grocery trips and some other things Karen has to do and I have to do, and hopefully come back here and get some dirty clothes on, because I do have a project for today. So depending on how the weather plays out, I might be able to get Joe Padula's fairing and prime today if I can get the primer. I don't know if it's going to be, who knows what kind of day it's going to be so far. But if I do have time, I got to, again, it's very hard to predict how this day is going to go, but my number one job would be to try to get the wheel off the spare GS, the rear wheel, and get it down to the cellar where I can start cleaning and sanding and grinding, get the tire off and everything, so, and get that ready, because I want to start making, I want to start today working on making a set of custom black wheels for the GS. And as everybody knows, I love to evil twin and switch parts and switch mufflers, and I always enjoy that part of motorcycling. I don't know why. And when I think of the custom things we've made, like the little things, the license plates, the heel guards out of carbon, well, I do enjoy that, but the number one thing I really do enjoy is custom wheels. The reason is you take an ordinary motorcycle, and if you have a spare set of wheels, you can change the whole look of the bike and then put it right back to whatever. And in this case, we got those gold wheels. They're 5-6 years old, maybe more, I don't even know. They've held up pretty well, but it's time for some refresh, as Karen says. Time for something new. So maybe she means me, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't ask her. Anyway, but I can't do it while I got my clean clothes on for shopping. And to be honest, I'm looking at that wheel right now. Jacking this bike up is going to be a little bit more work than I thought it might be. Well, something I'm going to have to deal with somewhere this afternoon. Anyway, I want to get started on the day. Now, just give you a little preview. I've worked on a lot of wheels, on a lot of different motorcycles for myself and for other people, of course. And it's always a giant labor of love. Now, even if you buy a set of wheels off eBay, which you can do for a couple $100, you still, the labor that's involved, it's a tremendous amount of grinding and sanding and polishing and whatever. But as I say this, the thing that I'm always impressed with is you just change the wheels on a motorcycle, and it is a whole new motorcycle. And even those green wheels, when I put the green wheels on and then I put the black wheels on, I feel like I'm riding a different bike. And it's something that I've done over and over again with this evil twin. Now here's the wheels we're going to work on. They are plenty corroded, plenty rusty. They've been sitting around probably for a few years, many years, in a damp garage. It'll be a challenge, and you'll be on board. And actually, the only bike here I don't have a custom set of wheels for is the MT-09, but you never know how quick that can change. We get a long winter here, you never know. And we've also done wheels for other people. Glenn, for instance, Vince, I know we've done a set of wheels for him. And it always changes the look of a bike. It really makes it custom. And in the case where you have an extra set of wheels, you can just put it right back. That's the nice part of it. So before we head out here, gotta have my coffee in the morning. Cannot start any day without a good cup of coffee. The birds agree. A good cup of coffee and some bird seeds. That's what life is made for. They're happy this morning. They're happy we didn't get much snow the other day. But as is always the problem in the really cold weather is keeping that ice, keeping a hole in the pond ice. Such a pain. Alright, it's time to go. Errand day awaits. So this is pretty funny. We get to the doctor's office and the building's on fire. And it's not a false alarm. I don't know about this. Might be a lengthy doctor visit. So this is pretty funny. The building really didn't burn down. Not all of it anyway. And I'm clear to ride motorcycles for another year. Our errand days always include a stop at Amazing Savings, and we always get some amazing thing that we really can't live without. So they had laundry baskets on sale. I bought 3 of them. This is going to be to organize all my polishing stuff that's all now down in the cellar. We get to polish these wheels up soon. Alright, so Karen's here and we're going to get more vegetables. We don't have enough vegetables in our diet right now. Listen, she may even get some stuff for Indian and Asian food. Also, I want to see if I can get some primer for Joe Padula's job. If I score some primer, be one step ahead, I get that prime today. Oh, it looks like it's Joe's lucky day here. They have Duplicolor. Only one more stop here at Aldi, and once we get done with Aldi, we're back home and get to work. Well, as we pull home back into our lovely yard, it would be a lot more fun to be coming home on a summer day on a motorcycle, but it's just not going to happen today. Good to be home, baby. So we're home, and I'm going to be able to, assuming that it doesn't snow anymore, I don't think it is. This is the key thing we're going to be doing, primer sealer. And I like the Duplicolor better than the Rust-Oleum, but they both can, obviously they both work. But I really hit the lucky thing here. I bought the last 2 they had, so that'll be enough to get the fairing cooking this afternoon. So this is another cold weather project when it's 10, 11 degrees outside. I'm going to take all my supplies, make an inventory, and I'm going to designate it so I have one just for polishing paint, one for polishing aluminum, and one for chemicals and tools. So it'll be a lot more convenient for me. Now in doing our Suzuki wheels, you never have too much brake clean because we're going to be doing the rotors, the caps. Clean everything as much as possible, and you never have too much of this. Now we got a good supply. We're ready for that, get that project going. Now I also wanted to try this. 2 reasons. I have two choices here. Whenever I ride, and this is Rain-X Anti-Fog, I look at the reviews of the product and what people do that ride in cold weather, which I'm maybe doing less of now than in years gone by, but they use this on the inside of the face shield and on the sunglasses or glasses, and which always fog up in cold weather. This is supposed to be a good cure for that, and just like the Wind Slayer, I'd rather do my own test. So we'll be testing this, and I also, in part of what I've been doing in the house is we're updating the plumbing in the bathroom, and we put a new mirror in the shower, and this is good supposedly. Well, I'm going to find out, because these anti-fog mirrors they sell are really not as anti-fog as you think they are. At least I haven't found it to be true. We'll give this a try in the next week or so, and I'll report back. So I'm going to be very curious to see if that Rain-X stuff works, because believe me, this is a no fog mirror. You buy it, you pay extra, fogs up the same. It's a shaving mirror in a shower. Amazing. Looks like we're real lucky. The sun may even be coming out, and it just went above freezing, so we are really in great shape. We'll get that Ducati fairing prime today for sure. So before I head out, oh, Karen's got the phone. We got some Indian stuff called Hot and Crunchy. And boy, when you bite into that, does that have, that has like Indian spice in it. It's called Hot and Crunchy. We just got it at the Indian store today. So the final thing before we get ready to take this outside is a quick wipe down again with Prep Ball. Just make sure we don't have any residual dust or dirt or anything. I'll tack rag it down and we'll be ready. Actually, the temperature, I don't like the paint below freezing unless it's like some emergency, but not an emergency, but I would like to get this on and get it drying. I think Joe is in the process of getting the red paint, and that's going to be more of a job than I suspect it will be, but we're gonna make sure, and I'm gonna have him bring the other fairing so we can, if the color doesn't match, I don't know what we do if the color doesn't match. But anyway, we are above freezing, and I'm dying to try that Rain-X stuff. It's so annoying when you're riding to have that fog on your eyeglasses, and people that don't ride in real cold weather don't know how annoying that is, and it is annoying, I know. A lot of people have told me that they bought a product at the Javits show, and I did too, of course, and it didn't work at all. Now, I don't know about the Rain-X. That's a big name brand. You would think maybe they work. I don't know. We're going to find out the hard way. We find out everything the hard way here. I just can't wait. And I also got my GoPro. I saw the thing from UPS that's in the mail. But we're not riding today, so we got a lot of stuff to stay busy with. That's the whole idea of life. Now the objective right now, the part's totally prepped, ready for primer. We're going to be using primer sealer because where these edges are, we want to seal those edges. If this had a lot of really rough bodywork, I would use primer filler, but I don't want any filler on here. And I anticipate that I'll sand the first coat of primer tomorrow and then put a final coat of primer on, and that'll just about coordinate when Joe gets delivery of the paint. So I think it's going to be perfect. And the bodywork, I think, is so good now. We don't have any Bondo. It's all CA. I don't think we'll need a lot of primer to fill in any imperfections that are still there. And it's above freezing, but not by much. And the only downside here, the wind is blowing more than I would like, but we've got to go to war with the primer we have. That's for sure. And I'm just glad it's not snowing. But that really cold, bitter weather is coming in the next 2 days. And I'm really hoping I can get that wheel downstairs. I wanted to get the whole inside done, and I'm hoping that Joe buys enough paint, and I'll do the outside first, of course, but if we have paint left over, I'll do at least get the edges so whatever you see, and I know you'll see part of this anyway, so, but, well, we're able to paint. That's the good news. And just check, we're really beating the weather here as this really brutal weather closes in on us. I'm glad to get this done. I'm going to let that dry, flip it over, and do the other side. And with the back side looking good, just let it tack dry. I flipped it over. Try to beat the wind here. You can hear the wind noise on every scene, no matter what I do. The wind is howling. And it's getting colder by the minute, so I was really happy to get this primer on, and I'll be real happy once it's in the garage and I know that I'm safe then and let it snow. Now the only imperfection in the whole piece is right here. You can see the little dots, and what you do is, and I've already done it once, is just as the paint is drying, just use your fingertip, since we're going to sand this anyway, and that'll help make that kind of go away. And do it right up until the point it dries. So now what we have is about 10 minutes of babysitting. Of course, with the wind blowing like this, I'm always afraid the part's going to be damaged or fall over or something. So we have about 10-15 minutes just hanging out here and making sure this dries up the way we want. And I think it will. I think we're in great shape. And boy, I think we just beat the weather. Well, we got before the really brutal wind and bad weather came, we got the paint on. This is going to dry overnight. As soon as it dries to the touch, I'll take it downstairs and put it by a heating vent. And that part of the job, Joe, if you only knew how much hours. But I always enjoy when they're done, and it looks like better than a factory part, and I think this does. No matter what angle I look at it, it looks just fine. That's going to be perfect. We're ready for the next step as soon as Joe gets the paint. All right, so Karen's making lunch. I got to figure out how I want to get it. My plan is to get a car jack under here, sneak around the back if I can, get the cinder blocks out, somehow get blocks underneath it, because it'll be sitting here without a wheel for maybe a month or so until we can swap out wheels. But it's just getting out of this garage and having that wheel down the cellar today. I will celebrate. I will be very happy. And that wheel, I've got the brake parts cleaner. I've got everything I need to do that wheel right. This is gonna be the next level of an evil twin. We'll have 4 evil twins. This bike with black wheels, this bike with black wheels, this bike with gold wheels, this bike with gold wheels. It's all coming. Let's hope. Now let's get this done. So whenever I do a job like this, I gotta just make the basics here. Here's the basic. I want to pull the axle out. I've already, for some reason, I have the caliper up out of the way already. I don't know why that's up. I'm not sure. And then I should be able to pull the axle out this way, leave all the hardware on there, and just get the jack under there and let it just sit on one of those blocks or milk crates. But I like to know that ahead of time. And as an example, if the axle went out the other way, I'd have a whole different, luckily it looks like it does come out. I got to make sure. And I'll get a little container and put all the spacers and bolts and everything that hold the disc on, everything in one little bucket eventually. Now, it was one of my dreams years ago to take 2 come-alongs and hoist the whole bike up in one shot. Well, as you probably noticed, that didn't happen. Let's see if this will work. We only have to get the bike an inch or so off the ground. Let's see how that works. And let's see what other might be a problem. Get that up off the ground. Sometimes it's more complicated than you think it is. Make sure this is on. Yeah, it would be nice to have 2 come-alongs and just go and be done. That would be peaches and cream. Let's see if this is going to work. Oh yeah, lucky me. Now there's a point at which I don't want to go past. That's probably it right there. That's good and solid right now. I've got the wheel chocked in the front. The next step is going to be to pull off all the hardware and get the wheel removed. This is the kind of job that one little thing can be a problem, and it turns out you spend 2 hours out here. Now it looks like we're going to luck out, and I've got to secure that. And I have plenty of clearance, and I'll be able to jack this back down without crashing into the spare 750. Now I know our friend Scott in Kansas is working on his GS project, and I look forward to seeing some more pictures of his bike. He got new shocks for it and springs. Now this bike already has the 530 chain conversion, and when I bought this bike he gave me the 630 chain and the sprockets that go with it, so I actually will have some spare parts here to deal with. But as you can imagine, this is in need of a big cleanup, and that'll be our future project. So part of our project is going to be, we're going to replace all the hardware with stainless steel. We're going to clean all this grit off. Not right now, that there's plenty of monsters to work on. But the first thing is, we're not going to do anything today. We want to get that down in the cellar where it's nice and warm and let it warm up overnight. And we're going to have a couple of days of grinding and sanding and whatever. But you know what? All of these projects, when that wheel is done and brand new, it'll be better than if the factory did it. By a lot, too. And every one of these wheels is a labor of love, but we have a long winter ahead of us. Now, looking back, you wouldn't think this was such a crazy busy day, but it was. And the cardiologist gave me such good news. He says, my God, you got at least 6 more months to live if you play your cards right. I'm not sure I'm playing my cards right here. But anyway, this is going to be our next labor of love, our next project. And again, it's all part of our desire to evil twin up basically all our bikes so we can constantly have a supply of new evil twin ideas and parts and things that we enjoy. Now, obviously this is a tire that's going to wind up gone. We don't need to even worry about taking it off. Another thing, we don't even have to worry about scratching a rim. This is all going to get ground away. We are really in the driver's seat here. This day worked out great. We're running a little later than I normally do, but we got so much done. Now, one thing you don't see on a video, but this Indian store that we found today, we went there thinking it was going to be a vegetable market. It had all Indian food. And wow, did Karen, she's just gotten into cooking Indian food. I love it. She loves it. We have a wheelbarrow full of stuff to try, and I'll try to share some of it on the video, of course. So, without stretching this out into oblivion, thank you, healthcare workers. Because of you, I can do projects like this instead of laying in a hospital bed looking at the ceiling, and I really do appreciate it. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy sharing our projects. I hope you someday get into having an evil twin of your own, and they grow on you. And it's a great concept. You never have to go to motor vehicles. You never have to worry about getting another title. You just switch the parts on the bike, all of a sudden it's a new bike. That's pretty cool. And by the way, the good news is I got a call from Luciano. He's got his H1 with all the blue parts on. We're going to try to stop up by his house the next couple days. Check it out, do a little photo shoot. But as I said, the next 2 or 3 days we are having some brutal weather come through, and I don't know if it's going to be more snow or what. So every day's an adventure. There are no Groundhog Days, and that's the way I like it. So thank you so much for watching. Now, we do try to post up something almost every day. This time of year, very unpredictable. Family stuff, weather, doctor visits, trips to the psychiatrist. Yeah, all kind of things happen. But anyway, hey, just a side note to this. As I'm editing this video, of course, it's the end of the day. Karen made some great Indian food with the stuff we picked up today. We are getting addicted to Indian food. Anyway, the Evil Twin projects over the last maybe 10 years, maybe a little bit more than 10 years, they have been the staple of my motorcycle collection. And it's allowed me, even with a limited amount of motorcycles, to have the feeling that I've had a lot more bikes than I've really had. And as I look back at the GS with the blue bodywork, and the 650 with the black bodywork, and now with the gold wheels, and every combination in between, it's just a really nice concept. And having the Evil Twin Ferraris, and now having them back to being R1s, normal sport bike type appearance, well, it just makes it so much fun. And not a lot of extra money and not that many trips to the motor vehicle, and you can wind up double or tripling the amount of motorcycles you have. So again, thanks so much for watching.